Well, about 3 days and 6,000 views later, apparently my video really struck a chord with a lot of people. I have not had that much attention in a long, long time. I don't think I've ever got a video get that many views so quickly. So, wow, thank you all so much for your support, and thank you all for your kind words, and just talking about your story, how much of a problem you've been dealing with, sharing your problems with ITT, your disappointment with the system and everything, all the bad stuff that's happening. I think this was a long time coming. We are part of a generation that is just frustrated. We're frustrated. We were told if we go to college, we are guaranteed jobs. And if we don't go to college, we are guaranteed poverty. That was basically the dichotomy that we were taught. And for the people who are asking, why did I go to ITT when I knew it was shit? I didn't know it was shit. I never had a single person, none of my teachers, none of my parents, none of the adults in my life, none of my guidance counselors, none of them told me that ITT was a bad idea. Not a single one said, don't go to that school, that's not a good school. Not a single one said, see if there's other schools that will accept you. My monitor just went off. Everyone I talked to was like, hey, great, you already have your college picked out. Congratulations. And apparently that was enough back then. This was 2000. I graduated in high school in 2003. 2 years after 9/11. Things weren't the way they are now. Not everybody knew computers back then, for that matter. Computers were a thing that kids used, but the adults didn't really use yet. A lot of times we were still doing things on paper. We were still, they still had like microfilm in the libraries when I was doing research. When I did research before that, a couple years ago, I had to do a research paper. I was actually at the library. I was actually looking things up on a microfiche. I had to look up information about a film, so I actually went to a fucking Blockbuster because I didn't have access to the internet to check IMDb. So things were different back then. We did not have this 24/7 constantly connected stuff. It wasn't that long ago. It was only about 13 years ago. But things have changed so fast, so rapidly, that the economy and technology and education have not caught up with each other. They have not stayed up to date with everything. So there's this whole mishmash of people who think they know better than others and people who don't. And I think that's where this clash is going. So why did I go to ITT? I was young, I was naive, I knew computers were the wave of the future, I knew I wanted to work with computers, and that seemed like the best option to me. Nobody told me that there were better technical colleges out there, that I should have gone to a real college and taken a technical course there so where I could get more hands-on experience. I wanted to make video games. That's what I wanted to do. That was my passion. And you can see, look at it. You got fucking video games. Video games are my fucking life. I got my amiibos here. I got Mewtwo. I got Bowser. I got Mario. I have a Mario hat signed by Charles Martinet. I got a Cubone up there. Video games, when there's not a siren going by my window, video games are my life. I always wanted to do something with video games, and I thought, when the siren stops blaring in the background, I thought ITT would be the best way to get me into it. And they did teach me to design video games, but anybody can design. ITT was an art school. They didn't teach me the technicals. They didn't teach me the meat of programming, of coding, of writing skeletons and making all that stuff work. We had a couple of courses in it, but the primary focus was design. It was the process, the writing the game design documents, getting all that stuff, managing people, that kind of stuff. But really, they don't hire managers. They hire coders. And the way that gaming has gone these days is you don't need that. You don't need to go to a class to learn how to make video games. Just make fucking video games. Just do it. if you can make games, if you could code, if you're an artist, they'll hire you as an artist. But they don't hire you just to be, hey, I have this game, I want to make it. You can't do that at a big company. You have to start your own. So if you want to do that, maybe go to business school, something else. Video games are something that you kind of do on your own. You just jump into it and you do it. And you have to be serious about it too. I've got stuff right now, and I am shooting this video mostly as a response to what everybody said to me. I'm kind of rambling. People have said I'm a great vlogger. I'm not. I got on a fluke last time. I got passionate about what I was saying, and I knew exactly what I was going to say. I am very much going off on tangents now. But I just wanted to say a response to something that some people have said to me in the comments that I think is worth responding to. People are saying, why don't you just default on your loan? I have considered it, but my mom is my co-signer, and I don't want her to get in trouble if I default on it. I don't want her credit score to go down, or I don't want them to repossess her house or whatever they did, because she's retired right now. She owns this house. I don't know how that's going to affect things, and I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the guy who's like, I'm in debt and I don't care. I'm just gonna live off the government because the government can do that. Fuck that. I want to be able to fend for myself, and if I default, it's like proof that I can't do this. I mean, maybe that's being short-sighted, maybe that's being naive as well, but I don't want to default on the loan. And I'm certainly not going to default on my loan on the advice of one person from the internet. If I'm going to default on my loan, I need to know exactly what's going to happen from that. There are so many weird legal things going on. I have no idea what I'm dealing with. So for me, the safest option is to just keep paying what I need to pay and figure out what I'm going to do and if I can get the rest of these loans waived. And on that front, there are several things that have been brought to my attention, several petitions and class action suits that are being levied against ITT Tech and ITT Educational Services. I'm going to have a link down below the video where you can sign the petitions and extend the, just going to call it a statute of limitations. You can see my horse symbol in the back right there. The current statute is 120 days, which is about 4 months. And they want to extend it to 365, which would be an entire year. For me, it would have to be extended to about 4,000. So that's probably not going to do much for me. But if there is a class action suit against it, that may be the better way to go. Because I did hear back from my private loan financier, and no, I cannot have that waived. That is still at about $6,000, which isn't as bad as my federal loan, which is about $12,000. The federal loan I have not heard back from yet. That would be the big one. If I can get the $12,000 waived, that would be big. That would be amazing for me. I could have myself debt-free by the end of the year, potentially. If I work really hard and get the hours I need at work, I could get that $6,000 paid off by the end of the year, which would be the best Christmas present for me, honestly. But yeah, moving forward, you can still go back to a real university and get a real degree. They are saying real. I kind of want to take offense to that, but yeah, fuck ITT. That's what I did by going to medical school. By the way, I literally have 10 times the debt you have. I have 20,000. I have 200,000 in debt, and I'm only halfway through med school. Good luck to you. I know doctors make way more than game designers, but it's also much more demanding work. Stop turning off. I'm trying to read my notes on the screen. I'll turn this one off. I'll meet you halfway, computer. And again, why don't I go back to school? I don't think more debt is the answer. Because, like I said before, if you want to design games, you can just design games. there's nothing stopping you from taking an online course. I have several online courses that I've registered. I registered with some Stack Skills stuff. I'm looking into Udemy. I'm looking into all these kinds of things, Code Academy, things that will teach me to make these games and just jump in, make games. It's really my fault that I haven't been putting so much effort into it. But I have made a few games in the past. Technically speaking, I'm a professional game developer because I did sell 12 copies of one of my games. It's not online anymore to purchase, don't ask about it, but I sold copies. Technically speaking, I'm a professional game developer. So I'm working on other things right now. People have asked if they can help support me. By all means, if you want to support me, this is not my main channel. My main channel, I'll have an annotation right here. And my main channel is Dragon Slayer Productions. That is where I do video game reviews. I do reviews of movies, funny stuff. I also do a series called Commercial Failure, which seems to be very, very popular. So if you want to support me, you can check my stuff out there. Subscribe, please. Subscribe and share my stuff with other people if you find it funny. Don't subscribe just because I asked you to. Subscribe because you like my stuff. I don't want somebody who subscribes just because they think it's a formality. I want them to subscribe because they like my stuff, because they enjoy it, because I can make them laugh. I really want to make people laugh. I want to entertain people. That's my lot in life. I really want to entertain people. That's why I got into making videos. That's why I got into making video games. So if you want to support me, I also have a Patreon. There's a Patreon link down in the description below. I have like one patron right now, but I put things up there about a week before I put them up on my main channel. So if you like my stuff, you want to see stuff early, you can support me on Patreon. But enough whoring out of my own stuff. I'm going to continue. I have a couple more things to say. With these repercussions, could you sue someone? I think we already are. I think people are working on this. There are 2 petitions and class action suits, like I said, links below, that are trying to get the statute of limitations extended. That's not the right word, but we'll see. It's going to get extended from 4 months to a year. But hopefully I can get on it even bigger if they can completely waive the federal loans, because as it stands, they were taking money from the government and that funded their stuff. So the government may sue ITT to get the money that is waived by shutting down the loan payments that people need, if that makes sense to you. If the government waives these loans, the government is still out that money. The government is going to get it from someone. So this class action suit may be to get the government to sue ITT for the students. So things are still happening, but they're happening very slowly. And one more question somebody asked, just curious, why did you go to ITT instead of DeVry? I work with many guys who are DeVry graduates. Is there a difference? I don't know. I don't think so. DeVry, ITT, University of Phoenix Online, these all kind of seem to be in the same vein, these sort of the degree mills, as they call it, where you go in, you do the work. They don't have to just hand out the work. We still had to show up to class. We still had to do this thing. We learned. I still have all my books from back then, just sitting under my, what the fuck is that? I think I got those books from somebody else, actually, who was going to another course. But we got our books, we did our assignments, and we had to show up every day, and we did our final capstone project. Our group, we actually designed a full MMORPG. And the people who were judging it said it was one of the most ambitious projects they've ever seen come out of the school, which was flattering to know. Too bad it doesn't fucking do anything to it. I could show you the design document we did. It's about this thick. But honestly, I don't know if there's a difference between ITT and DeVry. I had a friend who went there, and he worked for a while at a temp agency, and he worked as a temp to hire. So he was working there for about 10 years, and eventually they let him go, and he's now working for another company. But I don't think he put his DeVry degree to too much work. Well, my phone ran out of space while I was recording. Good job, Android. I can't delete the NFL app, but I can only record about 12 minutes of footage because I can't delete any more space off this phone. But I was wrapping up anyway. As I was saying, my friend went there. He's a tech guy like me. He put his things to work, and he's kind of stuck in the same boat. He has his own loans. I don't know if he chose to default, but I really don't want to have to do that. hopefully I'll do all this legit. But again, I think I'm part of a generation who feels like we were betrayed and lied to. That they told us that we could accomplish these great things, but they told everybody that. It's like it's like you're told, go here and go here. They're giving free stuff, and everybody goes there. And instead of like getting a free box of cookies, you get a single cookie each. And they're like, well, I told you to go there and get a free box of cookies. It's not my fault. It's like, it kind of is. But I'm not one to dwell on the past. It's just, life isn't getting any longer. So, hopefully I'll be able to straighten this stuff out until then. Oh yeah, one more thing I wanted to talk about. Somebody did talk about what Project Snowball is. Project Snowball is this. Project Snowball is my attempt at getting my student loans paid down. This is 2,000 dots, 2,000 blocks, and once they're all filled up, that will be enough money to pay off my student loans. And I am just about at the halfway point. I have 75 to go. 75 boxes to go, and that will be the halfway point. When that happens, I will be very happy. I am going to celebrate in some way. I might do a live stream, I don't know. But, again, I'm rambling at this point. Thank you, everybody, for your support. Leave your comments if you are still having trouble with ITT. If you have information for people who were affected by the ITT closure, or just people who went to ITT and are still stuck trying to pay off their student loans, link them here. Start a discussion in the comments. Keep things civil. Don't be an ass about it. I'm the moderator. I can ban you guys. That's simple as it is. So, thank you everybody for your support. We're gonna get through this together. Peace out, everybody.